What's up, traders? Brian Horton with BK Trading Academy. We're going to go ahead and dive into Euro AUD, a quick analysis that I want to explain to you. We're going to just do it as simple as possible. And I also want to show you our price action channel strategy and how we execute on this trade. And we're going to use a few things as confluence, and confluence meaning some other things that's going to back up our bias of an uptrend and when to buy as support. So let's go ahead and dive right into it.
Yeah, I know I got problems, and I don't know where to go. I don't want to put the blame on you, so I put it
All right,
on.
so here we are. We are looking at Euro AUD, and I want to start off with the higher time frame. We always start on the higher time frame because we want to get a good idea of which trend we're in, right? So if I start off on a weekly time frame, we can easily see that we're possibly in a downtrend, right? We have our strong push to the downside. We created a low. We have a pull up here for a possible lower high, right? So before we get into that, I like to scroll out to see how far price can rise to the top. And when I go all the way back here in March of 2020, that was our pandemic high. This is how high price can possibly get if we had another pandemic or some news that is major, right? So we don't really want to focus too much on that. We want to focus on the now. Okay. So we're on the weekly time frame. I'm going to scroll out to the daily time frame and we're going to analyze what we see here. Okay. So one or two things are going to happen. It's either going to follow this weekly downtrend or it's going to follow the uptrend. And this trend line is the indicator of if it's going to push higher or not. So I'm going to give you two scenarios here. So we're on the daily time frame, and as I scroll in here on the daily time frame, I draw my trend line showing an uptrend, and we're connecting our lows. And pretty much what we've done is connect our low here, our high, our higher low, and now we're approaching a higher high. So a few things that's going to happen. I'm going to go to the 8-hour time frame and we're going to just kind of see exactly what we're looking at here. So as we're creating a higher high, one or two things are going to happen. We're either going to pull back here, and this is what I would love to happen, is a pullback, right? So we broke our previous structure, our previous resistance. We can see wicks breaking out of this band here, and eventually buyers broke through. So as price broke through, it went up to about 107 pips. And what I would like to see is a pullback down to the structure here. If that pullback happens, I'm not going to sell now because I don't know if it's going to continue higher or not. But what I would like to happen is for a price to pull back to the structure. And as price pull back to that structure, I would like to enter here for a buy. Now, why would I want to do that? If I'm in an uptrend, it just makes sense to buy because it's less riskier. You have more forceful pushes to the upside than you have pullbacks. So just to show you how I would like for it to play out, I would like price to come down to the structure here. We see on the left side, these wicks breaking through the structure here, right? So I would like to see that. And then I would like to enter around this area and buy. Now, there's no specific price, and that's why I draw a pretty wide rectangle. Anywhere within this structure here, I'm willing to buy. And I want to buy with starting off with a low lot size. So if it continues to pull back like it has shown here, I can enter with another low lot size. You don't want to start off and put everything into it. So I have an alert here using the TradingView alert. I have it at 1.66358. If it does get there, my alert will sound off, and then I would reevaluate and reanalyze this chart for a possible buy. If I see buyers starting to step in, that will be my indication to get in. How would I find buyers stepping in? If I go to a lower time frame and I see small candles forming, meaning starting to consolidate, I believe buyers are coming in. Or if I'm on the higher time frame and I see a wick rejection, is an indication that I will buy here. So if that happens, then I would go ahead and buy. And then I would only buy for, if I entered here, for probably no more than 60 to 70 pips because I want to see if price is going to continue to break higher. If it does, I'm going to show you that our uptrend is going to continue. And this is when I will extend my trend line and continue this uptrend into something like this here, where we will make higher highs and higher lows, and we will continue that pattern and that structure. So that's what I'm looking for it to happen. Now, second case scenario, like I mentioned, we have our uptrend on the daily, but if I go to the weekly time frame, we're in a downtrend. So I'm going to spread my chart out a bit so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. we're in a downtrend here and we're making lower highs. And so another scenario can happen is bounce off of this downtrend and then make lower lows, something like that, right? So that's another scenario. Either way, though, where price is currently at, I believe if price pulls back, is going to have to react to the upside. So I'm still looking at that buy there. But for the long term, if we're in a downtrend, this will be a nice swing trade. So I want to see a reaction off of this trend line, or if it breaks a little higher, I want to see some sort of reaction that sellers are dominant. And from this area, I can sell at least 300 pips or so, depending on the volatility and the liquidity. So it all depends on what's going on. That's where I would turn to the Commitment of Traders report. That's cftc.gov. And once I go there, I click the market data and economic analysis form, Commitment of Traders, and then I would go right to this area right here. And then I would just simply find Euro. And once I find Euro, this is what I see here. I see that the big institutions have 207,000 long positions and they have 131,000 short positions. But what's important is the changes from 2 weeks prior. I'm showing 4,261 exits of their long positions, which means that price should start coming down and pulling down. Like I mentioned, if it pulls back to that support, then more than likely it's going to push to the upside. And then they actually exited only 850 short positions. All right. So since we're trading pairs, now I'm looking at the Australian dollar currency. And what I'm noticing is that they have 31,827 long positions, they meaning the big banks and institutions, and they have 108,000 short positions, which means because they're short, and AUD is the second currency in the pair, that means price will push to the upside. That's why we're seeing exactly what we're seeing with Euro. And there's some indecisiveness. And you can see that on the weekly time frame where we see this candle here where it's barely even filled out because there's a little tug of war between the two currencies. And I think where price is currently at, there's a nice struggle here in which price can do anything. And if you understand symmetrical triangles are a continuation pattern. We have our downtrend here and it's meeting our daily uptrend. So that's our symmetrical triangle. And typically with the symmetrical triangle, you have a continuation pattern where you have a test to the trend line and continue up like that. But we also have an inverted head and shoulders, right? So an inverted head and shoulders, if I go to the daily time frame, this is our head right here. This is our shoulder right here. This is our head. This is our right shoulder, and it comes up just like that. So we have our left shoulder, right shoulder, and our head. This is our inverted head and shoulder. So it can go either way. And an inverted head and shoulder, that's a reversal pattern. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I wanted to show you a couple things so that you can evaluate this chart on your own. And you want to use as many things as possible as Confluence to determine and analyze your chart. So that's all I have for you guys. I will see you in the next video. God bless.
Say